All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Is my volume up? All right. Good morning, guys. Good morning. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore I will hope in him. The Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore I will hope in him. Therefore I will hope right, good morning, guys. Really good job. I think we're going to do more singing in the future. That was absolutely beautiful, and so I think we're going to do that a whole lot more in Bible class. So let's get right into it. I'm excited about this one. If you have your Bibles, go to John chapter 20. We're going to get to him in just a second. Somebody special in that passage. Today we've been looking at relationships, every single kind of relationship. If you hear last week, one of my favorite lessons that we did was falling in love without losing your mind. And every one of us has fallen in love, or some of us might be single in here, or you may have kids or grandkids, and they're like, I'm in love, and we want to respond, you're a moron, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, and we want to walk them through the process of actually falling in love without losing your mind. That's what we did last week. But this week we're going to be looking at, I don't want you to have a phony relationship with God. I don't want you to have a phony relationship with God. So what does it look like to have a real relationship with God? Obviously, there's no way we can actually cover this in our class today. So we're going to do our very best. We're going to look at this a little bit more. So you know the story, the first part of the story before, because I've said it to you in this class, or I've said it in my preaching. When I left for college, let's see if anybody is listening. When I left for college, what was the last thing my father told me? And it was not, I love you. What was it? Do you guys remember?
Figure it out.
Not figure it out? What was it? It was right. Find your faith. And I thought that was the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life, because we have 18 hours to travel all the way to Arkansas. I'm in there with my brother and my sister-in-law because they were taking me to college for the first time. My parents didn't even take me to college. They were like, bye. And they left, and I left. So they didn't help me unpack my dorm room and set it up. Thanks for all the pictures. That's just like realizing how my parents didn't love me. But so they sent me out, but I remember my father saying that, I want you to go find your faith. And I thought that was really, really interesting, because in our congregation back home, it started in our basement, so you were working. This whole thing of, hey, can you do something? Oh, sorry, I need 15 weeks to prepare, did not exist. It was like, hey, today you're doing the communion talk in 15 minutes. Great, looking forward to it, and we did it, right? And so that was just part of my life. I was part of the youth group. My brother was the youth minister, so I had to do that, right? So every Friday I was with my youth group. We did service projects. I went to camp. I did all those things, and my father says, I want you to go find your faith. I said, it doesn't make any sense. Well, I get to college. Some of the things that college does, which is positive, I really think it's positive, you're always doing experiments, and you're always testing a what? Say it nice and loud. A hypothesis. We're trying to figure out, is this true? Is this not true? Is this concept true? Let's work through it. And they go through textbooks and they talk about it. And at the end, you can say, hey, this is what works. This is what doesn't work, right? And so when I got to college, I started asking questions. And eventually, what's your questions going to get to? Do I believe in God? Right? Because at the Harding University, the angels sang it to us when we entered the campus. Even at Harding, people were there, and they could care less. They were raised in the church. They did everything I did, and they looked out on Sunday morning and go, I'm sleeping. Now, I went to church because my brother was there, and he picked me up every Sunday morning. And if I didn't show up at the doorsteps, Mama knows, right? And so I went to church. But then the next semester, the next year, I went back to Harding in my 82 Volvo with no air conditioning or cruise control. And I drove back there. I got one new tire from my dad, though, so he did love me. I got one. So I went back, and then I realized I can do what I want with God. I went to Bible class, because Harding, you had to take a Bible class every semester. I went to chapel 5 days a week. But then I asked the question, so what is this God thing? Is it natural to doubt? Is it wrong to doubt? Yes or no? I got a couple no's.
Yeah, it's probably healthy to doubt.
Why is it healthy to doubt? I'm going to come back to you. So can one of you two have an answer for a second? Go ahead.
Well, because through doubt, you have to decide. I mean, you have to study,
Mhm.
you have to look, you have to listen, you have to pray or not, and it's through doubt that your faith grows.
Okay. One of you two?
That's kind of where I was. You have to challenge yourself in order to grow. And
that's how relationships are built, any relationships, like what you were talking about before. Real relationships are built on adversity, the closest ones.
Sure.
So if you're doubting, you're searching.
Good. I like it. Anybody else want to jump in on that?
Well, if you don't doubt, then you're gonna naturally believe whatever anybody tells you.
Good.
In the end.
Okay. You don't, I like that. So I cut you off. Excuse me. My fault.
Without doubt, there's no next sentence. But here's the-
It's the critical thinking aspect of it. Okay, I have this information. Now what is it? Right.
That's how the next generation of Christians, if I have doubt, I'm not certain, might be thrown into a Christian that's more mature than me. And if they've gone through the same doubt, then they know where to direct.
Good. Go to John chapter 20. John chapter
You know
20.
what I was thinking it's like when you go to college. I mean, so far you only live with your parents, and so but like when we're Republicans, and so people.
Hold on.
say, "Are
I'm
you-"
going to go there in a second.
Okay, you're gonna go to Republicans.
I am. I'm going to show you. Okay, we're going to leave it there. Good job. Okay, go to John chapter.
Hold on, I thought that was like you're saying you're gonna put a pin in it. The John page you're gonna
Pin it.
mark it.
All right. Hey, you guys know me. I love it. Okay, good. John chapter 20, starting in verse 24. Jesus has been resurrected from the dead, right? Death, burial, resurrection has happened. A lot of people are saying, hey, who was the first people who went to the tomb and said they knew that he was resurrected? Yeah, who were they? Mary. There's a lot of Marys, right? And they show up and they're like, holy moly. So they run and tell the apostles, Peter and John, who ran faster? Ooh, test your knowledge. Who ran faster? John, good. I love it that he put in his gospel, I ran faster, right? Than Peter, okay? Peter gets all the woo, but I ran faster than him, right? The only gospel that says it. So they get to the tomb, they can't believe it. Now, all these people have been seeing Jesus, right? Except one. Who's the one? Thomas. Now, let's just go. I want somebody to read verse 24. I don't care. Let's read down to 29. Can somebody do that for me, nice and loud, because we got air conditioning going and stuff like that.
But Thomas, one of the 12, who was called Didymus, was not with him when Jesus came. So the other disciples were saying to him, we have seen the Lord. But he said to them, unless I see in his hands the imprint of the nails, and put my finger into the place of the nail, and put my hand into his side, I will not believe. 8 days later, his disciples were again inside, and Thomas was with them. Jesus came, the doors having been shut, and stood in their midst and said, peace be to you. Then he said to Thomas, place your finger here and see my hands, and take your hand and put it into my side. And do not continue in disbelief, but be a believer. Thomas answered and said to him, my Lord and my God. Jesus said to him, because you have seen me, have you now believed? Blessed are they who did not see and yet believe.
Man, is that awesome? So is Thomas wrong? Is Thomas the worst apostle? He's on the bottom of the list. Who's always on the bottom of the list when they're spoken? You guys know? Judas. Who's always first? Good job, Peter. Peter's always first on the list. Judas is always last. Interesting fact. So is he the worst of the worst? Why? Why would you say that? And I personally, and I'm going to tell you right now, I do not call him Doubting Thomas. Sorry, I'm out. You can. Everybody does that. Even from the pulpit, I've heard preachers say, man, Doubting Thomas. Trash. I would doubt too. No offense, you would too. You watched them. They all doubted. They all kind of to find in the tomb. Absolutely. So in a way, they all doubted. So tell me about his doubt, though. Maybe, yeah, don't want to get my hopes up because I put so much into this. 3 years. Followed, listened, loved. Yep. Good. Anybody else want to jump in?
Reading way into it. But you have to wonder if something else was going on, because why was he the only one that was not with the group? When they were mourning and struggling and trying to come together, he wasn't there for some reason.
They were originally.
Thomas's doubt is very modern. Because prove it.
Yeah.
Prove it, and that's what in the Enlightenment, our whole society is prove it.
It's good.
And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but to me, Thomas is very modern.
I like it. I like it. Somebody had something over here?
I was saying, because they were saying he wasn't there. I was saying they were scattered, so I feel like he just hadn't made it back yet.
Okay.
But I was also gonna say about the doubt, the like sick doubt that he had. We have a friend, like a close friend of ours, that is complete atheist. We talk about Jesus all the time, and I have a feeling that if he came to Christ, he'd be like a Paul. He'd be like on fire for Christ. Because you know those type of people that they are so
Mm-hmm.
focused on their ways that if they became a Christian, they'd be a wildfire.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to work on that.
That's awesome. Keep working on it. Keep praying. Keep talking. Good job.
Joe,
Yeah.
I wonder how often we doubt in silence.
Yeah, it's in here.
A lot of people doubted that Jesus came back.
Sure.
Thomas spoke.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we're actually going to look at that too a little bit here when we don't focus on, when we let our doubts, we're going to get there. I don't want to talk about it yet because it's going to, I'm in sequence right now. Monk. Hit it again. Golly. Read my notes sometime on the board before I get there. All right. What I realized, okay, so when I'm off in college, I'm trying to figure this stuff out. Now I have people around me. My brother's not there, my parents aren't there, and I really get my own freedom. I finally have my own car that I bought for $1,500, and I was making decisions now. Am I in or am I out? So was I doing the right things because I was told to do the right things, or am I doing the right things because I want to do the right things? The God that I'm listening to, the God, well, that's where I was. I was trying to figure that out. And it was a great process of working all these things out. And I wasn't looking at the facts. I started realizing there was more than just the facts. I can believe facts. I was taught to believe facts. That's what university does, right? Here's the fact, here's the fact, here's the fact. Now regurgitate and put it into action. But I said, I need to know more behind it. And what I realized is the same thing that we've been talking about all the way through this. I needed to come into a relationship with God. I needed to understand who is God and what is that relationship with me and how will that affect me, okay? And so just like our other relationships, we want to understand, I try to understand who God is. I love what Tennyson says about the doubt that we may have. There lies more faith in honest doubt than in all your creeds. What do you think he meant by that? I'm going to read it again. There lies more faith in honest doubt than all your creeds.
I think it talks about your faith in the sense that when you have those doubts, and you think about Thomas, is he was doubting it, but it's one of those things where he wanted it to be true. He wanted to believe it, but
Yeah.
he just kind of needed to see it. I mean, same way with our doubt. I feel like it's one of those things, if you didn't really truly care about it, you wouldn't say, prove it. You wouldn't have
Sure.
like, okay, is it that important? If there's a part of you that still believes that it is important, you want to investigate to find out why.
Yeah, good. A lot of times when we come to our Christian walk, somebody gonna try to say something?
Well, I was going to say earlier when we asked about doubt
Sure.
that I think you can make the claim that you cannot have faith without doubt. Because, or I guess that's whenever you realize you have faith, is whenever you doubt. Because I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm still going to choose.
Good. Good. I like it. That's going to work really good in a little bit too. A lot of times in our Christian walk, we expect that like our faith is supposed to be continuous. And I talked to a lot of parents back when my day of youth ministry, and their kids got a little bit older and they started doubting. And the moms and a lot of dads would come to me and they go, "We are freaking out. We don't know what to do." What are they? They're doubting their faith. And I said, okay. It can't be continuous. At some point in my walk, even I'm just turned 50. I'm going to tell you the last 10 years, I had to work through some stuff with my relationship with God. Because I continue to grow. I get to a growth and go, hold on. What do you mean? What do you want? What do you really want from me? And I had to change my whole life. And I had some doubt because, hey, this is what I've been taught. This is what we've been kind of doing. And I'm realizing, nope, I got to change. And I'm in my growth. And I had to talk and work through these things with God.
On your quote, I was trying to think of a way to explain the speech that it's almost like the marriage vow. It's very easy to stand up there on the day of your wedding and say the vow.
Yeah.
But it's over time and years where the work in
is when it actually takes hold and leads.
Yeah, because you working through that whole understanding that over time, because it's not always perfect. Did you know that in your marriage? You guys are like, I ain't doing nothing with that. I'm having a good day. All right, we're having barbecue later. Leaving that alone.
I mean, did you want an amen or something?
Come on, bro. I just want to see your expression. I do those statements just to see expressions, just to see it. I want to see who.
Look at me, so.
I didn't look at you that time. I didn't look at that. I got turned a lot more today. Yeah, don't pinch your husbands. I want you to understand something. When there is some doubt and there's some things that we're trying to work through and we're trying to find God, okay? When we don't work through those problems, we're really losing the depth and the richness of this relationship that we're building. There's a lot to work through. And, going back to your analogy, Diane, it's like, yeah, at the beginning, it's really simple to look at the person in front of you and say, man, I'm going to live with you for the rest of my life. And you do all these vows. Then later on in life, you're like, man, this annoys me or this annoys me and whatever. But when you work through it, it's a stronger relationship on the other side. So working through your doubts and your difficulties is going to be great. I love this quote. Repressed doubts have a high rate of resurrection, and doubts that are plowed under will grow new roots. You understand that? We can say, oh, just don't doubt. That's what we kind of tell people too, even our kids. I just don't doubt. Well, that's going to come back up. It's going to usually come back with stronger roots and a lot more difficulties to walk through it, okay? So I want to look at a couple questions. Did you erase the board? Did you erase the board? Okay. I'm not going to erase it, but I want to show you. Not awesome. Sunday night, we're all standing around. The kids drew us. And they forgot my birthmark. I'm like, hey, if you're going to put me there right. All right, so they got my birthmark right. So I apologize. I'm going to turn that around because I don't want you looking at it no more because you're not going to listen. All right, so let's get back to this. Who is God, right? So Sigmund Freud would say this to you guys. You guys know who that is, telling me about your mother, right? That guy. But he has a really interesting statement. And at first, you're going to say, I totally disagree with that. You might not be able to. Okay? So this is what he says. His idea was this. We are simply projecting, again, we're asking the question, who is God in our life? Who is God? And he'll say to you is this. You are just projecting your own conceptualized God. How you see God. Do you think we do that? %, yes. I'll get to it in a second. Okay? So we're going to use our imagination to create a God that makes sense to us, which is interesting. So a lot of times in the past, he would use the example of a father figure. So we'll look at God as a father figure. We understand what a father figure does. He takes care of us. He protects us and all of these things. So therefore, God is like a father figure. So what he's really saying is he's explaining away the existence of God because you're just making it up. Okay, there's another sociology that says this. Our image of God is characterized by the traits of the people around us, the character traits that are around us that we prize the most. So what it means saying, what she's trying to say is this. Our culture and who we are and how we were raised is dictating to us who God is. Answer is yes. Why? Christian equals what in our political world? Republican. You can say it. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to get into politics. I'm not going to talk about the president or anything else. What's interesting, though, is that's a fact. Therefore, you're wondering why Christianity is being attacked in such a way? Because you have to reject it. So the left, interesting enough, what do you think the left is? What religious group? Usually, not everybody. I'm not saying everybody. This is very general. Islam has been taken over that side. This is more than politics. There's a lot more going on in our world. But this is what's going on. And so when you say, okay, in the book it says like Anglo-Saxon, Protestant Republican, a group that promotes capitalism God becomes an Anglo-Saxon Protestant Republican just like us. And we actually do that, right? We actually equate that sometimes when we look at who is God, okay? And so therefore, what they're trying to do is this. They're trying to say there is no existence of God because you are creating God in your mind. But to be honest with you, it's not doing that at all. But it is telling us some of the problems that we have. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Some people believe in a referee God. What do you think I mean by that? A referee God. Watching your every move, and when you do something wrong, you're in trouble. A minister that I used to work with, his name is David Hall. And I remember when in his preaching, he would say, man, we kind of think about this God that's sitting on a throne with a thunderbolt in his hand, and when you make a mistake, boom, you got it. And so what we're trying to do is, I'm trying to do as many good points, and I'm trying to have very few bad points. Now, you may be sitting there going, John, you're crazy. We don't think like that. Can I ask a question? So why is it in my work, when people are laying there on their deathbed, they ask me a question, am I good enough? John, have I done enough? That happens a lot. It's a point system. It's not exactly what we're supposed to see, right? I'm going to get to what we want to get into. Is that almost 10 o'clock? There's a glare. Okay. A grandfather God. What's a grandfather God? This is so me this weekend. What's a grandfather God? Never says no. Yeah, who said it? Yeah. I know, Jay, those little granddaughters, right around the pinky, right? So, yeah. But here's the problem, and you're right. I'm always going to be there for you, and I'm going to take care of you. That's the problem, right? What happens in that relationship if you're always going to say, I'm always going to be there for you? You never grow, right? I'm outside with my son and my grandson this weekend, and my grandson is running around in these flip-flops that are just a little too small, but he is booking it outside. Now, we're on a ranch. There's no grass in New Mexico, if you didn't know that, where we're at. And he was running across all these rocks, and he's running, and I'm like, oh. And my son's like, do you have to go to the bathroom? I'm like, no. And he was like, if he falls, he'll get up. But as a grandfather, I want to be there. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to cushion you. I'm going to be. So what's but you have to understand, a lot of people have that mentality and that image of a God, and it really takes us off the hook. I really don't have to do anything because God's going to take care of me. That's the problem. What about the scientist God? How do they look at God? Maybe like under a microscope. It's kind of like that. He's kind of, and it's the way they actually kind of describe it, like he's in a laboratory and he's doing his lab stuff, and he kind of set the little blue ball in the space of rolling, and he's taking a step back, and he doesn't really care about me and my personal problems because he's God. He's a science God, and he's kind of taking a step back. So he started it, but he's not a part of it. Well, there's problems with that too, right? What about a bodyguard God? Bodyguard God. Bodyguard God. What's that one about? Keeping everybody safe. My wife is smiling at me because that's the prayer of my father. What?
Nothing bad's ever gonna happen.
Yeah. It's like, exactly, nothing bad is going to happen to me. So it's like the sailor mentality, right? You're on a boat, you're in the middle of the ocean called life, and we know that there's a lifeboat. Now, you know it's there, but you hope you don't what? I hope I don't need it. Now, when I need it, it better be there. What's the problem with that? There's no connection. And if God doesn't show up in your need, what happens then? You stop your trust in him and say, well, if you didn't show up, I'm out. That doesn't work. Sometimes bad things happen to us. That doesn't mean God's not with us, right? He's walking through it with us, okay? But that's a lot of times. Now, you may look at all these and go, man, John, what are you talking about all these things? We kind of do this from time to time in our relationship with God. You know, we use him when we need, or we have this referee mentality or whatever it is. And it might not be you, but it could be how the world thinks as well, okay? But God is so much more for us. So a lot of times, I like what they talked about in this book that we were reading. We are created in the image of God, right? Where is that found? Genesis, good. Yeah, right in the beginning. We are created in the image of God, but a lot of times we change some of these words around and we create God in our own image. Because that's an image that we can be very comfortable with, that we can relate to, and that we can interact with. Is there a problem with that? It's like, yeah, it's really, literally. I mean, it goes back to the beginning, and it's like you're creating an image of a God. That's not really God. Okay, so let me get off this. I want to get somewhere else. I want to go positive today. When you got to describe God in one word, what is it? Remember that I just said I got to hurry? So what's the word? God, what? All-knowing, good. I like it. It's good. Huh? I'm coming over there. What's over here? God is? That's deep. What's yours? Who's setting it? Oh, okay. I didn't know the direction. I looked at everybody's eyes and nobody looked there. So it was you. Okay. I'm going to stop there. That's the one I was looking for. Sorry, everybody else. But God is love, right? And when somebody asks me, like, can you describe that? I'm like, you know what? I love this analogy. It's like the sun shining, right? It's always shining. It's always there, and it's always casting down its light. Man, the good stuff that you can get from the sun that keeps you healthy, all these things, it's always there. But you make the choice. Are you going to stay in the sun? Are you going to enjoy the sun? Are you going to use the sun for what it actually can be done for us? Or what are we going to do? Are we going to go inside? Are we going to hide in the dark? We're going to do our own things. We're going to put shades up, put umbrellas up. What are we going to do? That doesn't change who God is. He's always going to shine, and he's always going to be love. The choice is ours of how we're going to connect with the sun. Right? Okay. So who needs God? Answer that question. Who needs God? Everybody. So it's kind of crazy. We've been talking about relationships, right? All the way through like the last 2 months, relationships. And what we have found is we need relationships to have life, right? The very first chapter was this huge desire to be with another person, like relationship with another human being. That comes in so many different forms, right? It could come in forms of friendship. It could be marriage. It could be a lot of different things. It could be just friends that we have in our college years, in our later years, whatever it is. But we desire this longing for belonging, right? And even within my marriage, I try to pour myself into my marriage and I try to build our marriage up. But you know what I've found? It's not enough. I got good friends that hold me accountable, friends that I can talk to, friends that hold me up. I have all that, but it's not enough. Why? I have to have one thing. What is it? I gotta have God. You know, going all the way back to my story in the very beginning, you know what I figured out? I knew all the Bible verses. I knew everything. I was sitting in the Bible classes. I was doing the chapel, but I realized I just want to know God. I have to have God because without it, nothing else is going to help me. The relationships that we have are really good, but it's the shadow of what we have with God. Do you like that or not? I do. I like that. Okay? So I'm going to give you some of the things that happen when we have a relationship with God. 5 amazing things, right? We have a longing to belong. He fulfills that. He gives us meaning to our lives. He helps us rise above our selfishness so that we can take care of others. He fulfills our deepest needs. Okay, when nobody, I just said this just a second ago, bless you. That's a weird sneeze. I'm not going to lie, but that was weird. Sorry, I shouldn't say those things. Oh, my bad. But when our relationships on this earth, they can't fill us, God does. God empowers us to keep moving forward in the relationship that needs healing and can heal others, okay? This is all good. Okay, but you said God is love earlier, right? I'm going to talk about this. I'm really excited about this part. We love God. Why? Because he loved us first. Where is that? I want you to find that verse real quick. I'm not telling you. Google it if you have to. It goes like this, if you need to Google it. We love because he first loved us. I want to know where it is. Can you read it, Sal?
Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. One who does not love God is not of God, and God is love.
That was really fantastic. The whole book is talking about that love, right? And he's like, hey, we love because we understand this. God loved us first. Okay? It's not because I'm instructed to, it's not something I'm supposed to do, but because he has loved me and I'm standing in the sun, how do I not share that sun with other people, right? Within whatever relationship, my husband, my wife relationship, my parent to child relationship, my friendships, it has to be a part of it. But here's the problem that we have, okay? And I want to talk about this for a second. We say God is love. What do we define in that sentence? Short sentence. What do we define? Say it again. What? We should, but we don't. We define love. Why? Oh, no. I'm not going to do I. Throw that out. We don't like that word. Nope, that's the word I needed. Why should we not define love when we say God is love? Why should we not define love?
We can't wrap our head around what that encompasses.
We can't put our head around what it encompasses, Chris.
Like, we turned it into love of God.
Yes. Yes.
And so now we can define love, and that's what you're seeing, where, we have love is love.
Yeah.
For a justification for all types of wrong.
There you go.
And then when we say God is love, it's almost like we have to co-opt that.
It's right on. It's the same thing as made in the image of God. Made God in our image. We flipped it because when okay, somebody said something over here. I'm going to come. Can you hold on to that? My mind might go somewhere. You know that? You need me to bring me back. What?
I just said that, that means that it changes.
Yeah, exactly. The definition will change. Why?
Because God is constant.
God is constant.
He's always been, he always will be,
Absolutely.
is love.
Let me ask you this question.
He is
Why does our definition of love change?
the world's definition of love.
Say it nice and loud. I can hear.
The world's definition of love.
The world's definition of love changes. Anybody else? Circumstances. Good. It's an emotion. And it's not, yeah, if I feel really good about God, okay, God loves me. Trash. It's trash. It's not emotion. It's not feelings, right? So I want to go back to what Chris said. When we change this definition, then the definition becomes God. So what I'm trying to say here is if you want to make sure your relationship with God is not phony, what do we have to define? Not love. We define what? You said it earlier, God. How do you define God?
Read the word.
There you go. Who said it? Good job. Read the word. If you don't know. So when people go, why are you a Christian? My story, right? I can go back and go, man, I read about this God that constantly shines his love. And I saw it through this and this and this in God's word. I can talk about Jesus. I can talk about his disciples. I can talk about whatever it is that you connect. You can find that and go, because of that, I believe in God and that he is constant and that he loves me because I know the promises back here that he has made. I've seen them work in my life and they worked in fill in the blank. My love is defined of who my God is. And when that happens, you understand love. When that happens and you define God, it's how you will love another person.
No, I have to say one thing about that though, like, if you just read snippets occasionally or even daily, just read a snippet, I think that even muddies the water.
Amen.
Because unless you read it from front to back, not even the first time, the 45th time, you see who God is and how he is constant, but you can't see that. You just read about Sodom and Gomorrah or how, genocide here or whatever.
Yep.
You might think something of God, but when you read it from as a whole unified story,
Yes.
then you know who he is.
Then you understand a whole lot more. Amen. I can't amen that enough of understanding a whole. Yeah. I'm not against those. You might have an app on your phone that bring up passage a day. I'm not against that. Kind of get you maybe your mind there, but a passage, a word, a paragraph. You need more, right? It's just, like, oh, that's nice. That's all you leave it at. You don't really understand it. So when I understand that God is love, what happened in my relationship with God is this. I fear him. Now, I need to go really fast because I know I have like 2 minutes, right? That fear is not being afraid. When you're afraid of something, what happens? You constrict. You become constrict. You come like this. You become on the defense. What was that? Avoid it. Yep. So you're gonna ball up. You're gonna put your, like, if you're a turtle, you're gonna put your shell on, whatever it is. You're gonna get in there, or you're gonna book it and get out of there. That's what fear does. Okay. I have a really funny story, but I don't have time. Fear God in the Bible. You know this. I preached on it. It's been a minute. What does fear God mean in the Bible? Acknowledging him. I need to go really fast here. It's awe and reverence is what it is. There's a depth there. And that awe and reverence, I'm not scared of it. I want to dive into it. And that's actually what happens when we fear God and understand that he loves us because he is God. Therefore, when I learn about this God who loves me, and then I come into this other thing here, and it's called, I have a fear. I have this awness. I have this deep respect, and I want to dive into that God. I want to know him even more. The first 9 chapters of Proverbs, what does it keep telling you to do? Huh? Seek wisdom. Seek wisdom. Seek. Find. Better than gold. Better than silver. Fathers teach it. Mothers teach it. Find it. Why? Because you're going to understand that relationship with God. When that relationship happens, it's absolutely incredible. But you may say these words, but God's invisible. How am I going to do this? Well, I do it through Jesus Christ. When I can understand Jesus Christ, because Jesus was God on this earth, okay, right? And so when this happens, I can connect with him. If I can connect with him, I have a tangible thing because I can look at his story. He was born as a baby, came into this world through Mary, who was a virgin. Come on. How many of us had no idea how to handle a kid, our first kid? Do you remember that? You know, we laid Lysol before them when they were walking. Do you remember that? And the third one's like, hey, they're eating dirt. You know what my son said? He goes, hey, we came from it. Why not eat it, right? So he lets his kid eat dirt. He doesn't care. But, we have all of this. He lives among us. And we can see his teaching, his compassion, I tell you what, his creativity. Jesus was the most creative person I've ever met and read about. We have all of this. We have death, burial, resurrection. And it's all of this that we're wrapping in that it makes me change my life forever. So what we're trying to accomplish today, I know there's a second bell, I got to let you go. What I wanted to try to accomplish is I want you to think about your relationship with God and just say, okay, is it phony or is it real? What am I pursuing? Am I in one of those categories? Because I was. The categories that we talked about earlier, I was a part of those. I don't want to be part of those. I want authentic depth, and I want to have a relationship with God. I don't want it to be phony. You guys with me? Hey, great class. You did a fantastic job today. I'll see you next week. We're going to tie things up and just kind of cover everything and just talk about what we've done. Okay? God bless. Love you guys.